Pretty cool, isn't it? Let's do it one more time. One of the most famous teaching experiments in electrical physics is what's called Jacob's ladder, which is a high voltage arc which travels upward to do its heat. Now we can do that with high voltage AC power or DC power. So I'm going to show you how to do it safely and easily in your garage, just to make friends or influence people. You have a neon sign transformer here, one of the big heavy ones, not the electronic ones, and it goes to about 15 kV, and that's a 15,000 volt AC power source. And here's the 240 volt AC coming in, brown and blue wires and ground. Now for the output, you never touch these output leads directly. You put them on long plastic pipes called chicken sticks and have a little clamp at the end. Never touch those things. So you want to keep your hands at least a foot away from the leads themselves. That's for the AC power source. For the DC power source, we have this little ignition coil, which is very safe. DC 15 volt comes in from this power supply over here, goes in these leads here, and again out these two little chicken sticks. Now we can attach those high voltage leads to this thick aluminium rods, like rabbit ears, 6 millimeter, to some thick copper wire about 1.5 millimeter, or thin copper wire about 0.5 millimeter. And we're going to try for each one to see how the Jacob's ladder experiment works and which one works best to give the best visual effects. Today I've got a neon sign transformer and two thick rods of aluminium, and I'm trying to make Jacob's ladder from the voltage. Now we turn it on, we can see some wiggling back and forth, but these thick pieces of aluminium don't really work very well for moving the spark over a long distance, just a short distance. So the best way to make a Jacob's ladder from this 15,000 volt AC neon sign transformer is to have two thin wires that can move a little bit and wiggle, and you put the closest point about halfway up and watch what happens. Pretty cool, isn't it? Let's do it one more time. What happens is the sparks are hot and they rise in the air until they eventually break. The hot air makes them rise up. And just one more time for fun. Now if we use a 40 kV DC Ignition Coil instead and put the power up, we can get a ladder but a slightly different kind. When we take a 40 kV DC ignition coil and test on these thick 6 millimeter pieces of aluminium, let's watch what happens. In summary, just to remind everybody, you must use these plastic chicken sticks for high voltage leads, whether you're using this neon sign transformer with 15,000 volts AC or this ignition coil with 40 kilovolts DC. Never touch the leads directly. Then you can put those high voltage leads right at the basis of any of these wires and get your Jacob's ladder. These thin wires work best. You can play with them and model them and get all sorts of shapes. Have fun and be safe. Thank you very much.